For context, if you're watching this for the first time, I am a main Finn. Top 500 before the game came out, and it's still not out yet as per recording. Right now, we start with Finn. He is very amazing. He does have weaknesses though. I'm gonna say he is between S and A tier. He has a lot of potential. He's very fast. You can upgrade him throughout the game. I would say he definitely shines more in solos rather than duos. This is a overall tier list. I'm gonna like kind of compare how each character is for both duos and solos, since there's ranked for both of them. And then I will be making a combined rank for both of those. So I would say for solo, he's an S tier. For duos, he would be around the A or B tier. We'll leave him at S tier, and then if we find someone better, we'll just put him down to A. We'll be doing our fine adjustments or whatever. Next up is Arya Stark. I would say out of all the characters in this tier list, she's probably the one I've played against the least. Definitely because she's one of the hardest characters to actually master. She's also very fast. I wouldn't say as fast as Finn because Finn does stack his speed. These really fast characters that don't deal too much damage, they're very good in solos, but they aren't that good in duos, except for like Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn is still very good in all of them. Arya Stark, because of her difficulty, I'm gonna put her not too high. I feel like if you actually master her, she can be an S tier, but because of her difficulty, I'll have to peg her down to like a B or A. Put her in A for now. Duo, she would be probably a B, like a solid B. Solo, she is probably an A just because of how difficult she is to master. Again, you can face steal, you can go behind your opponent, you can do a bunch of shenanigans that you can't really do with any other character. Batman. So Batman is one that I was a little bit on the fence on. I used to think he was really bad until towards the end of the test phase where people really started figuring him out. If you play him properly, nobody can touch a Batman main. So I feel like he would probably be normally in a B tier. Again, if you master him, he's 100% an S tier. He is very hard to play. Basically, he is not that hard to get, like to actually start. But if you really want to be good with him, base tier, he's bad. He's a B, but he has a high skill tier floor or whatever that you can actually get him to S tier. Very low floor, very high ceiling. I would put Batman in a B tier just because of that. Anyone can really start playing as Batman and just be really bad with him, or spend like 50 hours and finally get him to like A or S tier. He's definitely better in solos than duos. Actually, maybe duos he is kind of good because people don't pay too much attention to him, but I would say solos he's still better since he can kind of just dominate the arena. So Bugs Bunny, a very annoying character. This is one of those fast characters that I would put him better in duos rather than solos, but he's still very good in solos. Duos, I would say he's S, and solo, I would say he's an A tier. I think we can also put him right next to Finn. I don't think he's better than Finn by any means, but he's still a very solid character. And if you manage to master his traps and you can use his holes to the advantage, you can do a lot of neat little combos with Bugs Bunny where you can throw a safe into a hole and have it pop out the other way and then set up a rocket going up. And while you're attacking your opponent, then the rocket suddenly comes down with the vault and then just combos and kills them out of nowhere. It's a very combo heavy character, I would say, but a very good one nonetheless. Next up is Harley Quinn. She is a definite S tier. She is S tier in both duos and solos. I don't know what to say about this character. She is goated. Not 100% the best character, but I would say she's definitely one of the best characters in the game right now. As of the test phase, she has extremely good crowd control, mobility, damage, kill potential, everything you really need in a character. Harley Quinn has it. I can say I didn't even spend too much time to master her, and within like an hour of playing her, I was not losing at all. And people who master her are just in the top ranks, and it's honestly not that hard to master her in the first place. So right now, I think as of these 5 characters, she's the best within these 5. Jake is very interesting because of his range and power, but in solos, he's a little bit lower, probably like a C tier. Since he's so slow, he does have a lot of range. which is what helps him a lot. But other than that, Jake doesn't have that much. He does have like a bouncy house. He has some mobility, but the only really strong point about Jake is his range and kind of his angles, because he can attack with his neutral fist and at any angle, which can catch opponents off guard. But if you're able to dodge it, you're just fine, and you're going to be able to land a free shot every single hit that Jake tries to do, because you can basically just dodge his slow attacks. I think we can put him at a C tier for now, or maybe a B tier, just because he's really good in duos. I wouldn't put him in S tier actually in duos. I would put him in like A. So he's probably like a B or C tier. Let's put him at C for now. Any character here in this tier list, I'm just gonna let you guys know, if you really want to play with them and you master them to their full potential, you can always get a high ranking with them in both solos or duos. I'm just ranking them by moveset and power based on the test phase. So yeah, they also might be updated when the game actually comes out. So I'm just letting you guys know about that. So next up is Garnet. Garnet is a Steven Universe character. She is very powerful, but also very slow. She kind of has the same weakness as Jake, except she has much more mobility, I would say. She also has more mix-ups and more kind of ground control. She doesn't reign as much in the air. In the air, she's a little bit weak, but in the ground, she does have a lot of power there. I would at least put her higher than Jake, probably at a B tier. And she is definitely stronger in duos, but I wouldn't put her as streak in solos. I wouldn't put her as weak in solos as Jake, for example, since she does have that ground kind of dominance over any kind of opponent, I would say, especially with the ground pound or with the star kind of grab. That's pretty amazing, especially in duos. But yeah, Garnet is still pretty good, and Garnet mains, they can always beat any opponent. Next up is Raindog. So Raindog is my arch nemesis. I hate playing against Raindogs. I don't know if you watching have caught up with the streams. I've had a past history with Raindog that I've I haven't liked the many Raindog mains that I've played against. They have complete air control and kind of ground control. They just like stay in a area. They throw 10,000 projectiles all throughout the arena and then just down smash. That's the Raindog playstyle. You do nothing else, and that's basically how you win games. It's not to say that it's easy to play Raindog, but it's definitely a very base style of play. You don't really mix up too much. You don't really deviate from the plan too much. If you're playing against a Raindog, you know you're going to be playing against all the projectiles in the world, but it's still very strong. I would put Raindog in at least A tier, probably the strongest of the slow characters. Shaggy. Shaggy is the base character, the first character you start playing with. He's probably your nuts and butts, like normal kind of punch guy. I kick, I punch, I win. And he's basic, and I think that's what they were going for, but that doesn't mean he's weak. He still has a very strong moveset, I would say. Very solid moveset, not very strong moveset. His rage isn't really that powerful in higher tier gameplay, I would say. It's very easy to dodge, and it takes a little bit to actually charge. So I wouldn't say he's high tier per se, but his actual normal moveset isn't that bad. I would put him at a solid B tier, I would say. He's a very basic fighter, not as strong as Bugs Bunny. Bugs Bunny is definitely better than Shaggy at doing everything Shaggy does. Superman is our next character. He is a super strong super armor character. Every basic attack that he does has super armor and is very strong. He also has air superiority. He's very hard to kill, and he packs a lot of punches. He's not the fastest character, but the super armor definitely makes up for it. I would put him at a solid A tier, right below Raindog. He isn't as projectile heavy as Raindog, but his super armor makes up for it. But if you're in higher tiers and higher level of play, you can definitely counter the super armor, since I would say every character has some kind of super armor counter that you can play against, and then Superman just kind of falls off from there. But Superman is definitely the newbie killer, 100%. And if you're good with him, you can also just abuse his super armor timing, because for example, there's that fist move that just goes all the way across the arena where he has super armor while charging that, which is just busted and crazy that it just kills and it deals like so much damage. So next up is Steven Universe. He is a slow defensive support character that is actually very good. His normal shield attacks are extremely good at countering any kind of play that your opponent is doing, and he also has Watermelon Steven, which punishes slow play from opponents, so they can't just wait it out, because you will win the war of attrition with something like Watermelon Steven or throwing them in the bubble. It's a very attrition based character, definitely better in duos than solos, but still not bad. In solos, I would put him probably at like a B tier. In duos, I would probably put him at like an A tier or something. We're definitely going to be rearranging this by the end of the video. For now, we'll leave him at B tier. I don't think he's as strong as like Superman or Rain Dog, for example, or Arya Stark or any of these faster characters. Let's see Taz. Taz is the newbie shredder. His neutral attacks absolutely kill anyone who doesn't know how to deal with them, but at higher tier play, you're not gonna be playing against that. But fear not, he's still good at higher tier play because of his salt and counter combos and whatever, and speed, natural speed. He does actually have still playability in higher tier ranks, but he's definitely very much stronger against players that don't know how to deal with him. So he's a very easy character to pick up, and I wouldn't put his ceiling too high. I would say there's only so much you can do with Taz, but that so much you can do with Taz is still pretty good. I think he would probably go to a top of B tier or A tier. I think he might be around Superman level of strength. So let's put him at the bottom of A tier for now, but we might change this. Tom and Jerry. This guy is probably the strongest projectile character for one reason, because he doesn't need his projectiles. If you're happening to play against a slow opponent or someone who doesn't want to play directly against you, or that's kind of playing the long game, you can throw so many projectiles with Tom, with Jerry, and just win the war of attrition. Or if they are aggroing you, you can fisherman pole them, and then you can just spam your up smash and kill them immediately, or your down smash. All of Tom's move kit is extremely strong, and I would put him right below Harley Quinn. I don't think he's as strong as Harley Quinn, but he's still probably up there with the strongest character in the game. I would say Harley Quinn still is as strong as Tom and Jerry, but she just still has a higher ceiling than Tom and Jerry. So I would say she's just a little bit better just because of her potential, not because of her actual move set. But yeah, Tom and Jerry is still extremely strong just because of his smashes, his entire kill potential while remaining safe at all times. It's crazy how good he is. Velma. Velma is one of those duo-centric characters, I would say. She is extremely strong in duos, but you shouldn't underestimate her in solos because she still has some pretty good long-range options, I would say. For example, her during her duos, she can actually remain unchecked by your teammate and then just wreak havoc throughout the whole game by summoning her car cop, and by doing a lot of these shenanigans that exist in her kit. She can overwhelm her opponent very easily doing that in duos and just basically chipping them down. Her light bulb is also very good in solos. That's pretty much all I can think of though. She's still a very good character, but I wouldn't put her above like Steven Universe, for example. I don't think she's as strong as like Garnet. I'll put her in C tier for now. I think Jake is a little bit weaker than her. I think Shaggy might be in the same level, so let's put him in C tier, but let's do these reformations afterwards. So for our last character, we're not going to be ranking the Iron Giant because we haven't played with him, so I'm going to put him just in D tier for now. I'm not sure how the Iron Giant actually works, but let's put him in D tier. He wasn't there for the test phase, so I really didn't get to play with him or read or watch any of his gameplay. And then for our last character to rank right here is Wonder Woman. She is extremely weak. I definitely think she's the weakest character in the game right now. She's the only D tier, I would say. I don't know what to say. I've never seen a good Wonder Woman, and if I've seen a good Wonder Woman, or at least decent, they were playing in duos. I think her move kit is just weaker than the whole game right now, and everyone has something that they do better than Wonder Woman. So if you want to be better at shielding your allies, you go with Steven, or you go with Rain Dog and just be a better support. If you want to be a good tank, just just go Superman or Batman, and there you go. If you want to be DPS, you're not playing the right character. Don't play Wonder Woman. She doesn't do any damage. She has no synergy, and she's slow. She's bad in the air, and she's not that good in the ground. She just doesn't have the strongest moveset. Her only good thing is the super armor she can grant, or the invulnerability, I should say, which is decent. It's pretty good, of course, but it doesn't make up for the whole rest of the moveset, man. It's not that good. So yeah, she's the only D character, I would say. Let's actually get to rearranging this. So I think the two strongest characters would be all of these characters right here, except Wonder Woman, all of these characters are mainable, and if you main them, you can get to top rank with them just by being really good at the game, except with Wonder Woman. She's trash. Don't play Wonder Woman. She's so bad. But if you're gonna play Harley Quinn, she's probably the easiest character to pick up and still be a god at for no reason. Tom and Jerry has the strongest projectiles with basic moveset, with smash attacks, with range, with everything. It's stupid. And then these A tier characters are very strong picks that if you main them, they can still go head to head with these guys, but they're not going to be as busted from a main standpoint as these guys. And B tier, these are either really strong in duos or in solos, and then they're a little bit harder to master, or they have a little bit of a weaker moveset. C tier, these guys have a kind of slower moveset, or they're very hard to master, but this is not to say that they're bad, because they all have their own strengths. For example, Batman has really good range, Shaggy has a really good base moveset with his normal punches and whatever, and Jake has a really good range. I wouldn't put anything in unplayable except for Wonder Woman. That's my final tier list. It was great having you guys over here. When MultiVersus comes out, I'm gonna be playing so much of it, and you're gonna see the best Finn main ever. Bye.